We mortals are not going to be able to copy everything Carlos can do. But there are 3 tactical patterns he used that you can copy tomorrow, regardless of your level, to win more singles points. And the first is that he defends with height. So Sinner makes the error here, but I contend that Carlos earned this error, and here's why. This decision point is one that I see so many players at so many levels get wrong. The correct shot here is high over the net for 3 really important reasons. First, it's in the air longer. So look how long this ball is in the air because Carlos uses height, and so he is at a position which is exactly where he wants to defend from by the time he has to defend. Okay, 2, let's look at where Sinner plays this ball from. He is off his feet at his shoulders. That is a very high degree of difficulty forehand. Now, Sinner's really good, so he smacked it, but most of your opponents, this is actually going to work better because they're not going to be able to smack a forehand off their feet at their shoulders. And then number 3, of course, as we watch this point play out, Carlos never even comes close to flirting with the net. And that's the third thing about height, is you force your opponent to put you away rather than giving them the point for free. So here's a really great angle where we can see the height that these guys are using. You'll notice even the non-defensive balls, even the rally balls at this level, have a pretty significant amount of margin over the net. But there's one shot in particular I really want to look at here, and it's right here after Sinner rips this forehand. So the situation should look pretty familiar. We're on the run. The opponent just ripped the ball there on offense. Play it with height. That'll give us time to recover. It'll make our opponent's shot more difficult than otherwise, and we won't flirt with the net. We won't give them the point for free. We will force them to earn it. And this dovetails right into our second pattern. No second chances. This is something Carlos is probably the best in the world at. When he hits a big shot, he takes away the opponent's best defensive shot by coming to the net. Defending with height is awesome, like we talked about, and one of the only counters is to go to net, where those high shots become easier volleys. And so now your opponent's in the same position we were talking about. They want to defend with height. They don't want to flirt with the net. They want to make your shot difficult because it bounces up. But because you're at net, you don't give your opponent the time they were trying to buy with the height, and you can just knock it off for a winner. So the no second chances attitude makes it so that once you just have a single opening, your opponent must play an amazing shot to beat you. Now, as you're watching this, you're probably thinking, but wait a minute, coach, I can't make this volley that Carlos Alcaraz just made. And that's right. But what you have to remember is your opponent probably can't hit that defensive forehand that Jannik Sinner just hit. So you don't have to be the greatest volleyer ever to adopt no second chances. Even if your opponent is as good as Jannik Sinner, you are still going to put them under tremendous pressure to execute. And if they are not absolutely perfect, you are going to win the point with just a single opening. Now, in the post-game, Sinner talked about the fact that he needs to play more like Carlos to win these matchups, and no second chances is what he's talking about. We're going to watch 2 points from him. This is the one Carlos did such a great job defending with height, but remember we said Jannik Sinner is one of the players who actually can rip that ball anyway? This is the moment in the rally where he gets his one opening for him. He forces Carlos into this high chip defensive shot, but he's recovered laterally. So you can't just hit an easy volley winner on this. Whereas Carlos would have hit this ball and then sprinted to cut off the net, saying, if you don't hit the greatest shot of your life, you're not winning this point. And so we talked about how great Carlos's decision-making was here, but he didn't hit the greatest shot of his life, and he won the point anyway. And to Sinner's credit, he absolutely understood this in the moment, and he stopped giving second chances in that second set where he dominated. So here he's got a very similar forehand. He rips it from behind the baseline, but he goes directly to the net, doesn't give Carlos that chip defensive shot, cuts it off, makes him play a ridiculous sliding passing shot, which of course is almost impossible, and so he ends up putting away that high volley. You know, a lot of this for Sinner is really just execution, but you should take note that even a ball striker as good as him made it public that he thinks he needs to do this. He needs to run Carlos's no second chances pattern better in order to compete with him. Our third tactic is to pick your pattern. Now, what we're seeing here is mostly a backhand to backhand pattern. This is during the third set when Jannik was dominating, and he was opting into the backhand to backhand pattern whenever he could. Now, these are the kind of small decision points that Carlos changed after that second set. He's got a forehand here, but he goes back into Sinner's backhand, ends up back in this cross-court pattern, advantage Sinner. And it's not like Sinner was cheating on the other side and leaving that open. Carlos just chose to go there and ended up in a disadvantaged state. Sinner loves this pattern. You'll notice he just keeps going back to the backhand. He gets a short ball, tries to attack down the line, and when he doesn't get anything for it, boom, right back into that same pattern that he wants. And this is something you can apply at every level. Use your neutral balls to opt in to the pattern that benefits you. Okay, so what's the difference here? Well, now you're going to notice Carlos is going to use height to try to get the ball back on his forehand. So going down the line with the backhand doesn't always have to be an aggressive shot. Sometimes you can play it high over the net to a big target just to change the pattern of the rally. And you always want to be aware of which patterns are better for you. Here, Sinner hit a great shot. You're not going to hit a winner from back here, so what do? Well, often you'd want to attack high to the backhand here, but decide your best pattern opponent by opponent. And for Alcaraz, that's forehand to forehand. So he simply chooses to play this to the forehand, and I know he absolutely destroys this next ball. So when you watch this, you're like, can I really copy what this guy's doing? But what you can copy is the decision he made on the shot before. Know what your weapons are. Know what you do better than your opponent, and opt into those patterns whenever you get the chance.